Hey everybody, welcome to Black Spring. Well, as you know by now, we're very well into the election cycle, and we have, of course, right now it looks like we still have, of course, Joe Biden as the front runner for the Democrats. But with that, it also looks like Joe Biden is coming undone pretty regularly in the public, whether it's his policies on fracking to taking your AR-14. So I thought, why not? I'll bring you that clip first. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me here on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, Joe Biden yesterday hurling profanities at a construction worker from Detroit who questioned him on his stance about guns.
Yeah, really? So when someone engages you, you curse them out? That Michigan mill rights employee, Jerry Wayne, joins us now. Jerry, appreciate you joining us. Set the scene. When did you realize you'll have a chance to question the former vice president about his stance on guns?
Well, I heard when I first came to work that he'd be coming in, so I spent a little bit of time gathering my thoughts on a question that I might be able to ask. I had no idea that he was going to be taking questions or if it was going to be that type of scenario. He started making his rounds, shaking people's hands, and he made it to my way, and I stopped him. I started asking him a question. He could have easily said, "I'm not taking questions," and I would have very respectfully walked away. But he wanted to listen to my question, and I don't think that he was ready for it.
Well, it was hard to hear. What did you ask him?
Well, I asked him how he was going to be helping get us work, us union workers work in the future. We seem to be doing fine at the moment, but there's always room for improvement, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to show us where that improvement could come from.
And
I also asked him, I'm sorry?
You go ahead.
I also asked him how he wanted to get the vote of the working man when a lot of us wield arms. We bear arms, and we like to do that. And if he wants to give us work and take our guns, I don't see how he's going to get the same vote.
So his message has changed, right? Is that your concern? Because he looked at you and he said, "That's not true. I never said that." So we went to the Wayback Machine, as Steve always says, and we found what he said in the past that really concerns you. Watch this.
Gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo. You're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period. Look, the Second Amendment doesn't say you can't restrict the kinds of weapons people can own.
So that was one of the viral videos, Jerry, that you had seen. Another one is where he talks about putting Beto O'Rourke in charge of guns. We're going to run that too. Watch.
I want to make something clear. I'm going to guarantee you this is not the last you've seen of this guy. You're going to take care of the gun problem with me. You're going to be the one who leads this effort. I'm counting on you.
Right, and that's the video right there, Jerry, that scared you, right?
Yeah. It was a little bit disturbing to see that a politician wants to take away my right to defend myself.
So which Joe Biden do you believe?
The one that wants to take my guns.
So you told him you want to, most of these assaults are happening with handguns, and you want to take my AR, he thought 14, but he says means AR-15, we think. So you say he should not touch your AR-15, and it's not an assault weapon.
He doesn't need to touch anybody's weapon at all.
Jerry?
What we need to do is we need to concentrate on teaching people how to respect firearms and how to use them, not take them away.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
VA loans are arguably...
you had an example there of Joe Biden in his fury and in what I consider a bit of a walking time bomb kind of a status. He seems very angry when he's asked to, give facts or to support his actual positions. In fact, not only that, he's misquoting and quoting weapons that don't exactly exist. And so, I think by now we've all kind of established that Joe Biden very much has his own ideas of what New World Order is. And we kind of tapped into that on the last one of my last videos. So if you're interested in that, you can take a look at that. But from there, how about we hop over to our vetted source, and that is from the New American. So we'll give you a little bit of another segment on this particular situation. And this was written on today, Wednesday, March 11th, 2020. Biden will take your, quote, AR-14, tells Second Amendment supporter. You're full of shit, end quote. Seeking votes in the Michigan Democratic presidential primary, former Vice President Joe Biden made his way through a thick crowd of hard-hatted automobile workers in Detroit, smiling and shaking hands. Then he stopped when one worker asked him why he wanted to take his Second Amendment protected right to keep and bear arms. Instead of calmly explaining his position on gun regulations, Biden became highly agitated and very quickly even shoving his finger in the questioner's face. Even over the noise of the crowd, Biden could be heard shouting that he would do is, quote, take away AR-14s away, reminiscent of former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke's promise on the one Democratic debate. Hell yes, I'm coming for your AR-15s. Biden even threatened to slap the man in the face and called him a, quote, horse's ass. Despite a campaign aide's effort to get Biden to move on, Biden persisted in his confrontation with the man. Quote, you're full of shit, Biden told the man in response to his accusation that he was attacking the Second Amendment. Ironically, the Fiat Chrysler Mobile automobile plant is the first auto assembly plant built in Detroit in decades, which apparently many of the auto workers credited to President Donald Trump. As Biden left the plant, several workers began to chant, Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump won Michigan in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, and if his reception at the auto plant is any indication, he might very well win it again in 2020. While Biden claims to support the Second Amendment, he agrees with banning the AR-15, which Biden mistakenly referred to as the AR-14, in the latest of his almost daily gaffes. Biden also supports universal background checks, gun sales, a new ban, what she calls, quote, assault weapons to replace the ban initiated by President Clinton in 1990, which was later allowed to expire by a Republican-controlled Congress. The National Rifle Association tweeted that Biden had, quote, screamed, quote, at a, quote, patriot. Quote, Joe, gun owners see through your lies, the NRA added. Biden has a history of testy run-ins with potential voters who dare to disagree with him. Last year, when a man asked Biden about his own son's Hunter's dealings with Ukrainian energy firm Burisma, Biden called the man a, quote, damn liar, end quote, and called him fat, end quote. While Biden was vice president and President Barack Obama's, quote, point man on Ukraine, Biden told Ukrainians to fire the prosecutor who was investigating Burisma for corruption, or he would cut off $1 billion loan guarantee from the United States. Ukraine complied and fired the prosecutor and received the money. Yet neither the Democrats nor the media allies seemed to have the slightest interest in that story. Recently, Biden became agitated at the question from a woman in New Hampshire about why he had such poor performance in the Iowa caucuses. Biden then told her if she had ever been to a caucus, asked her if she'd ever been to a caucus. When the woman indicated that she had, Biden called her a quote, lying dog-faced pony soldier. The campaign later said it was a joke, that Biden was referring to a line from a 1950s John Wayne movie. In 2018, Biden even said of President Donald Trump, quote, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him, end quote. Of course, Trump responded by treating that would be Biden going down. In addition to Biden's bellicose remarks about Trump and his belligerence towards average citizens who disagree with him, he almost makes daily gaffes, such as recent declaration that he was part of the, quote, old Biden Obama administration, end quote. Biden's frequent gaffes and repeated bouts of anger tend to overshadow his liberal positions on most issues, such as threatening to take away AR-15s. Because his chief rival for the Democrat nomination, Bernie Sanders, is so openly far to the left, it makes Biden look like some sort of, quote, moderate in comparison. But make no mistake, Biden is no moderate, either in his temper or his ideology. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, that generally is very segue into my point in this particular posting. Biden has an affair with New World Order. He's given speeches on the opportunities of New World Order, intelligence, just generally, he's very much in support of one world government. He's in support of open borders. He's in support of, New World Order. It's, and even that is it's a broad spectrum in what he supports, but it's certainly not the Constitution, and it's certainly not freedom or independence. So, as usual, I'd love to know what you think about Biden's positions. And if you could hit that subscribe button, share, like, let me know what you think in the comments or your concerns. And as always, I'm happy to have you guys here on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. Take care.